Alright, we're back again. It's that time again when I record another tutorial. This time we're gonna start with animations. So let's get to that. Now, first thing to get out of the way, you're gonna want to use the command SetAnimation. There are a few global ones, like 2 and 5. 2 just makes the actor stop moving completely, and 5 just makes it walk in place. That's it. Now, what if you want to do an animation that isn't either of those? Let me show you. First thing you're going to want to do is locate the sprite. Now, if you can see here, I have sprite 7, sprite 6, and so on. Don't do that. Call them by their dex number or whatever. In my case, Esper, which is 677, right here. And yeah, these are all the different animations, all of which are also seen right here. If you need a better visualization, go check out SpriteBot. It's very useful. But yeah, what you want is animdata.xml. What's important is the name, also found down here, and the index. The rest are just for spriters, which I won't be talking about. So let me just take a quick look at what I want SB to do. All right, I want SB to do a little pose, and the animation for that is, well, pose. Index 17. Now, a lot of you may think, oh, just do SetAnimation 17. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. What you actually need to do is go to this little table here, which is super helpful. Look at animation ID, and then look for 17, which also corresponds to 26. So, SetAnimation 26. In here, you can also modify the speed. You can make it slow, normal, or fast. Fast plays twice as fast, slow plays half as fast, and you use the numbers. Right, so we got SetAnimation. Let me just do it in a more appropriate spot. Now, this is where I talk about the big bat that nobody, well, that I wanted to talk about for so long. Here. Subroutines. I believe that's what they're called. The way it works is different actors, performers, and objects can all have their own subroutines in which you basically get to tell them, hey, do this. The best part is, these two play at the same time. Now, unfortunately, you can't just do this. It's not a thing. SkyTemple won't accept it. There needs to be something in there. There needs to be a target. I believe these are called targeted routines now that I think about it. Let's make one for the camera. For_performer, bracket, and then their performer number. And here's where we get into locks. Lock, and then an ID from 0 to 20. The rest don't work. What this does is it stops the code. That's all it does. It just stops right here. But you can unlock it with the same ID. If you have extra targeted routines down here, it will unlock everything that's locked at 0. Now, right here, I have it set up so that SB moves down. Now, in these, you don't put with statements of any kind. No, you just take this, plop it in there. This is essentially one giant with statement. If you've messed around with targeted routines before, you know exactly how this is going to fail. There are 3 ways this fails. 1, and it's the biggest one that even I mess up sometimes, there's no hold. I believe hold stops the code indefinitely. You do not want to put end here. 2, there's a with statement for performer 0. It overrides this thing down here. So I take that out and delete this. And 3, little SB here doesn't have their own targeted routine. So let's make one. It's not too bad. Def 2. You need to keep increasing by 1. For actor. And for object, it's just for object and then the ID. Actor NPC Esper. Add the hold in before I forget. Let's make her joyous. But let's also lock it. Lock 1. Delete this. Unlock 1. Now, the way I try to keep these organized is to do // and then whatever the lock does. Effect joyous or Esper. Move camera. You don't need to do this, it's just for organization. Grab that. Lock 2. Paste it. Get rid. Unlock 2. Now here's where we'll actually use the unlock 0. Instead of doing lock 3, we do lock 0. Oops. Because we want both to happen at the exact same time. Now, let's see what I just created. Wait, hold on a minute. This should be in here. My bad. On this topic, remember to reset your animations to 2, whenever they're done. Just at all times. If you don't do that, when the NPC tries to walk, it'll do that animation. I learned that the hard way. Now, this won't work the way I want it to for one reason. Esper won't complete the pose. So let's just add a quick wait. For about 25. But if you want to be a frickin' nerd, here's another way you can do that. If I'm not mistaken, then you can just add all of these up, and that's the total amount of frames that you can just put into wait here. But I'm frickin' lazy, so I just guess randomly. If you do the math here, it's 22, but 25 is larger, so it'll work anyways. So let's look at what we created. Okay, locks do this sometimes, be prepared for it. So let's pause. Where did it go wrong? I see. It tries to unlock 0, while the code is within these 2 lines. So let's just wait 10 or so. And now it should work no problem. Yep, that's about what I thought was going to happen. Now it works no problem. That's it. That's all locks are. Locks and targeted routines, everybody. Whoa! They're a lot more complicated than that, obviously. You can do so many cool things with this, and it's just actually nuts. This sample scene doesn't really do enough justice to get across the point. I also kind of don't want to spoil my own hack. All I'll let you know is there's a lot of creative freedom with these things, and I love it. This does not mean you should abandon with statements. These might be huge with statements that you can do whatever the hell you want with, but def 0 still exists. If all you're going to do with performer 0 is use camera underscore set myself, you're better off using a with statement. Look, in all honesty, I'm starting to kind of run out of things to talk about here. There's not much aside from this. There's just AI sandwich, hell no. There's yeah, that's kind of it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There really isn't much more to talk about. At least for scripting. I may have a lot of experience with this, but I know full well that there are other aspects I want to talk about. I haven't even talked about overworld shenanigans, saving, or even Union all in general. Oh, and dungeons too. Oh, those will be fun to talk about. But none of them really fit Mystery Mail. We're kind of going against all those. We're doing cutscenes only, and we always will. So if you want to see more of this stuff, feel free to comment. I'll make sure to read as many as I can. Next tutorial will be on more cool stuff that SkyTemple lets you do. Thank you all for watching.